Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be giving you my review of Sandcastle by Frederick Peters and Pierre Levy, and this is what the 2021 M. Night Shyamalan film Old is based off of. So I'm going to give two spoilers that are also content warnings, but otherwise any other things that go beyond these content warnings it's going to be a spoiler-free review of this book. But if you are interested in watching Old, if you haven't seen it and you want to come in completely surprised, this is probably not the review for you, because although this is a spoiler-free review, there are obviously, it ties into the film, it inspired the film, so there are things that happen in the book that happen in the film. So if you want to go and watch the film and be completely and totally surprised by it, then this is not the review for you. But otherwise, let's get into it. So the basic premise of Sandcastle is that a group of people, they are all strangers, a group of people end up on a beach, and as time progresses they realize that they are aging faster than normal. So chaos and panic ensues, and they try to get off this beach before they grow old and die of old age on this beach. So that is the basic premise of this. And I do want to say that this is NSFSR, which stands for Not Safe for Subway Reading. There is quite a bit of nudity. I mean, you can see on the cover already, there's nudity, so hopefully this doesn't get demonetized. I just realized that, but whatever. It's art. But yes, there is quite a bit of nudity. There are quite a bit of sexual circumstances that occur between some of the characters in this graphic novel. So yeah, definitely not safe for reading in public. So just wanted to make you aware of that. So that is the basic premise of the graphic novel, and it is a very, very short graphic novel. It is only 108 pages. I read it in one sitting. I had Orlando read it because I wanted him to join me on the podcast to talk about this with me. Once I realized how short this was, he read it in one sitting. So a lot of the pictures in this graphic novel a lot of this graphic novel is told through just pictures. There is dialogue, obviously, and there are some dialogue heavy pages, but honestly, most of the storytelling comes from just the pictures. So I was trying to find a page that doesn't have any nudity on it, but from what I was seeing from other reviewers, they really didn't like the art style because they felt that it was a little too dark, and so a lot of details blended into each other and it was hard to tell the story. I disagree with that opinion. I personally really liked the art style of this book, of this graphic novel, and I thought it did its job in telling its story. And it just got like darker and darker, and some of the images got like more and more exaggerated, so features got exaggerated a lot more, and I thought that was really effective in telling this story. Moving on to the two spoilers. They are, as I said, they are spoilers, but they are also serving as content warnings. So think of them more as content warnings rather than spoilers, but I am spoiling some things, so just letting you know. But the first content warning is that there is a lot, as I said, there is a lot of nudity, there is a lot of sexual content, and most of the nudity / sexual content occurs between minors, so they are engaging in teenage sex. So it is sex between two minors. It is not overtly graphic, but that's just something to consider if that makes you uncomfortable. And there is also one other character that engages in sexual content, and I'm honestly not sure of her age. I'm telling myself she's an adult because she's engaging in sexual contact with what is very clearly another adult. So yeah, it's unclear at this point how old she is. So I choose to believe that she is of at least 18 or 19 years old at this point, but it is not 100% clear how old she is. So just want to let you know. So that did make me uncomfortable. Like the teens engage in sex, whatever. And these are not like literal, they're drawings of teenagers. So that's kind of, I know that's a hard line for some people. Like, it doesn't matter. They don't want to see nudity if it involves minors in any way, because these are fictional characters and they are just drawings. It doesn't bother me, but just letting you know. And yeah, like I said, the other one is a little bit more ambiguous how old she is, but I'm telling myself she's of age. The second content warning is that there is the death of an animal, and it's not a graphic death, but an animal still dies. So I know that some people don't like seeing animals dead in any shape, way, or form. So just letting you know, like I said, it's not graphic, but there is the death of an animal. Overall, this is a lot more ambiguous. So I saw the film, and I saw this film before I read this. So I wasn't sure how much of that was in the film would be in this graphic novel. I do want to say the graphic novel is a lot more ambiguous. It's a lot more mysterious of how this beach came to be, what they're doing there, that kind of thing. So, and I don't know, I definitely did not like the changes the film made in making it less ambiguous, but I'm not sure that I like how ambiguous this was. It was a little bit too ambiguous, and I wish it was there's a little bit more explanation as to what is the cause of this speech. And there are certain characters that are mentioned, or things that they notice, that are like mentioned in one panel and then never discussed again. So it's like, I wish if these things are being brought up, I wish that we had more of an answer as to why they're being brought up. So I rated this 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't hate it. I did think it was okay. And I think my main issue, like I said, it was just a little bit too ambiguous for my liking. So 3 out of 5 stars. And yeah, so I know that this might be a little bit difficult for some people to read based on the content warnings that I did give, but I don't know, it's still kind of cool, and I did like it, but I honestly don't know if I like fully recommend it. But if it sounds like something you would want to enjoy, you would enjoy, check it out for yourself. So I'm also going to be releasing the podcast episode where I dive more in depth about the similarities and the differences in this book, and whether I think the film or the book is better, in this week's episode of the podcast. So if you are interested in checking that out, be sure to check out the podcast this week and get a more in-depth look into Sandcastle versus Old, the movie. But that is it for this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.